What if the person you are falling for right now is not actually who you think they are? The only way to find out the truth is to slow down long enough to notice what your emotions have been rushing you past. Nobody teaches you how to read a person, or how to notice the difference between chemistry and compatibility, between infatuation and genuine connection. So you learn it the hard way. You learn it by getting hurt, by giving your time, energy, attention, and sometimes your self-respect to someone who was never going to give it back in the same measure. And afterward, you ask yourself, how did I not see this coming? The truth is, you probably did. Somewhere in the back of your mind, a small voice noticed something early on, a tiny inconsistency or a strange comment. But you silenced it, because the excitement of being wanted and chosen was louder. Most men make relationship decisions from desire, loneliness, and the need to feel wanted. And desire is a terrible compass because it only cares about right now. When a man meets someone attractive who gives him attention after feeling invisible, his judgment can get completely overridden. This is where the calm, observant man comes in. Not cold or detached, but someone who can feel the excitement of a new connection without letting that excitement make his decisions for him. A man who understands that the beginning of a relationship is a period of information gathering, not a finish line to be crossed as fast as possible. The first pattern to watch for is a constant need for external validation, not simply enjoying social media, but a deeper need for approval that never seems satisfied. You may notice constant checking, refreshing, comparing, or disappointment when attention is low. If someone's mood, energy, and sense of self rise and fall based on external attention, it tells you something about where their emotional foundation sits. Eventually, some of that need for validation may be pointed at you, and no matter how much attention you give, it may never feel like enough. The second pattern is inconsistency. Think about someone who runs hot and cold. One week they text constantly and make you feel like the center of their world. Then suddenly they become distant, and just when you start pulling back, they return warmer than ever. This is often mistaken for passion or chemistry, but unpredictable affection can create a cycle that keeps you constantly guessing and trying to earn back the warmth that was there before. So pay attention to consistency, not perfection. Another pattern is extreme defensive independence. Statements like, "I do not need anyone," or "I am better off alone" can sound like strength. But there is a difference between peaceful independence and a wall built after painful experiences. If you meet someone displaying defensive independence, do not see it as a challenge. Do not think you will be the one to break through the wall. That turns you from a partner into a project. Also pay attention to the unresolved past. Someone who constantly talks about an ex, replays old wounds, or describes every previous partner as terrible may not have finished processing that past. The new relationship can then become the stage where the old story continues to play out. Intensity and health are not the same thing. Intensity can come from genuine connection, or from uncertainty constantly activating the nervous system. From the inside, both can feel remarkably similar. This is why learning to calmly observe patterns without the fog of infatuation is such a valuable skill. These patterns become easier to understand when you look at attachment styles. There is the secure style, where a person is comfortable with closeness and independence. There is the anxious style, where a person craves closeness so strongly that they become constantly worried about distance and rejection. And there is the avoidant style, where closeness feels suffocating and intimacy creates an urge to pull away. These attachment styles are often strategies formed early in life. Someone who experienced unpredictable love may develop an anxious style, while someone whose emotional needs were dismissed may develop an avoidant style. None of this makes a person broken. It means they were shaped by their history. When you understand attachment styles, the patterns we discussed earlier make more sense. Hot and cold behavior can often come from an anxious-avoidant dynamic. The need for external validation can connect to anxiety and the need for reassurance, while extreme independence can connect to avoidance and fear of vulnerability. But none of these patterns exist in isolation. They are branches of the same tree, and the roots were planted long before you entered the picture. This brings us to the most important idea. You are not and were never meant to be someone else's therapist. Everyone deserves compassion and patience while working through their difficulties, but there is a huge difference between supporting someone's growth and taking responsibility for their healing. When a man becomes the emotional rescuer in a relationship, it can initially feel meaningful. There is something deeply human about wanting to help someone who is hurting and wanting to be the calm in their storm. But when you become responsible for someone's healing, the role can slowly consume you until very little of your own identity remains. Supporting someone's growth is healthy, but carrying their emotional wounds as your responsibility is not. This is where many men get trapped. They see someone's pain and immediately want to fix it. They become the person who listens to every crisis, provides constant reassurance, and tries to prove that they are different from everyone who hurt that person before. At first, it feels like love, but eventually the relationship can become less about two people building a life together and more about one person constantly trying to stabilize the other. You cannot love someone enough to erase patterns they are unwilling to face themselves. You cannot give someone enough reassurance to permanently remove insecurity that comes from somewhere deeper. And you cannot prove your worth by endlessly tolerating behavior that slowly destroys your own peace. The calm, observant man understands this. He can have compassion without abandoning his boundaries. He can understand someone's history without allowing that history to become an excuse for unhealthy behavior. The goal is not to judge people for their wounds. The goal is to recognize whether they are aware of those wounds and whether they are actually doing something about them. Because everyone has patterns. Everyone carries something from the past. The question is not whether someone is perfectly healed. The question is whether they are self-aware enough to recognize what they carry and responsible enough to work on it. And this is where attraction needs to become observation. Instead of asking only, "How strongly do I feel about this person?" start asking, "What consistently happens when I am around this person? Do they bring peace or constant confusion? Do their words match their actions? Can they communicate when something is wrong? Can they take responsibility when they make a mistake?" These questions may not feel as exciting as chemistry, but they tell you far more about whether a relationship can actually last. The person who is right for you will not require you to abandon your judgment just to keep the connection alive. The real goal is not to find someone without wounds. It is to find someone who is aware of their wounds and willing to take responsibility for them. You do not need to become someone's therapist, rescuer, or emotional caretaker just to prove that you love them. A healthy relationship requires two people who are willing to grow, communicate, and take responsibility for themselves. So slow down. Pay attention to patterns instead of getting lost in intensity. Watch whether someone's words match their actions, whether they can communicate, and whether they bring peace or constant confusion into your life. Because attraction can tell you who you want, but observation can tell you whether that person is actually right for you. If this video made you think differently about relationships, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. And let me know in the comments what you think about these patterns and whether you have ever experienced something similar.